Hey y'all, I'm at the dog park today with Kuma, who is resting under the bench right now. But I figured I would go ahead and make a video and kill two birds with one stone because it is gorgeous outside today and I don't want to go back inside yet. So you can probably hear Kuma panting and I'm really sorry. Maybe he'll walk away in a minute and it won't be so loud. But that is my life. That's pretty much what I hear 24/7. So last week I mentioned that today I was going to talk about this idea that seems to be going around in the trans masculine community, from what I can tell, that binary trans men are being like discriminated against, out or excluded or something from the community by non-binary folks specifically, from what I can tell. And I'm here to call bullshit. I completely recognize that I am an incredibly privileged trans person. I am a white, masculine, binary trans man who fits the description of the right kind of trans in today's society. So I know that everything that pretty much ever comes out of my mouth comes from a place of extreme privilege. And I recognize that. That being said, it seems that a lot of the people I see talking about this are white binary trans men who claim to be advocates, who claim to want to help the trans community and the LGBTQ community and things like that, and I don't understand it. Specifically white binary trans men. I don't want to speak on people of color's experience because I have no room to do that. I don't know what they experience, and I completely understand that. So I'm pretty much just speaking about white binary trans folks at this moment. We are not discriminated against in the trans community. We are the most privileged in the trans community. People take our gender identity seriously because we're binary. If we pass, which is problematic for many reasons, but not because non-binary folks use it to describe us. That's not why it's problematic. It's problematic because no one should have to pass in order to be seen as their true gender. They should just be seen that way because that's who they say they are. But people using it to describe us is an oppression. Non-binary folks using it to describe us, they're not oppressing us because of that. It's not something that they made up to be mean to us for. Pretty sure binary folks are the ones who made it up, and we're the ones that aspire to pass. And from what I've seen from a lot of trans men specifically, is that if you don't pass, you're not seen as trans enough. If you're non-binary, you're not seen as trans enough. I've seen trans men be hateful towards trans women. And it's baffling to me that y'all want to play the victims when we are probably the worst, from what I've seen, from my experience in the trans community, about policing other people's transness and their transition and telling them they're wrong, or telling them that trans men can't wear dresses or makeup or be feminine, or that we don't understand trans women, or that people have to pass to be seriously trans, or you have to experience dysphoria to be actually trans, or any of that bullshit. We police it more often than I see any other person in the community police someone else's transness, and it's bullshit. And to try and claim to be a victim because we're not welcome in non-binary spaces, or that people, once we reach a certain point in our transition, that people don't feel comfortable at us going to queer events because they don't understand where we fit in. And I get it, that sucks, and it's really hard trying to find a place to fit in if you're going to a group that doesn't know you and they don't feel safe around you because of your masculinity. But tough shit, that is just part of the package, and I completely understand why people don't feel safe or comfortable around a very masculine person in today's society, because we cause the most shit. Let's be fucking frank. We cause the most shit. So if you go into a space where nobody knows you, I people may not feel safe with you there until they understand why you're there, and that is just part of the package at this point, and not something to complain about. It's all just, I read about it and I saw people's comments, and it just blew my mind that we would try to play victim in the trans community, because non-binary people call us out for our problematic behaviors. If someone is calling you out for your problematic behavior, or they're saying that you're exhibiting toxic masculinity, they're not telling you that just because you're a binary masculine person. They're telling you that because of your behavior, because of something you said, because of the way you're speaking, because of the way you're talking about other people, because of something that you're doing. Toxic masculinity doesn't just mean you're a binary masculine person. It means that you are exhibiting behaviors that are toxic. You are telling trans boys that they can't wear dresses or makeup, or that they have to look a certain way or experience dysphoria a certain way in order to be trans enough. Telling non-binary people that no one's going to take their gender identity seriously because you don't, basically. That's toxic masculinity. Telling people that you don't understand trans women is toxic masculinity, or harping on anyone because they're not trans enough in your eyes is toxic masculinity. Taking up more space than necessary, making yourself loud and in charge in spaces that aren't meant for you is toxic masculinity. Speaking about women in a certain way, in a terrible way, is toxic masculinity, and I know many trans men who are really freaking bad about it, and it's just disgusting. So, dear binary trans men, we need to do better. If someone's calling you out, maybe you have something to learn. Maybe there's something that you need to reevaluate in how you behave and what you say, and just listen. Don't argue. Don't defend yourself. Don't claim victim because someone's calling you out on your bullshit. Just listen to them and do better. If you have a platform, do better. If you claim to be an advocate, do better. You gotta learn some shit. We are not the victims. We are not. I have a following on Instagram because I am a white binary trans man who fits the correct trans narrative, who works out, that is why I have a following, and I completely understand that, and that is why most of these people who are claiming victim have a following. We're not the victim. We need to do better. We need to listen better. We need to learn better. We need to speak up better when necessary. We don't need to speak over people. If someone else is telling their story, we need to let them speak about it, and we just need to listen. And we need to make sure that we're speaking in a manner that is respectful and protective of the entire trans community, even ones that you may not understand, and that's fine. But we don't get to police someone else's transness. We don't get to tell someone they're telling us we are toxic because we are masculine presenting, when that's not why they're telling you you are behaving in a toxic masculine way. We just need to do better and stop whining because someone else is calling us out. There's a reason. Unlearn some toxic shit, listen, and do better.